Everybody would pass around this hard drive full of totally legally procured movies. That was one of the like most beautiful places I've ever been though. It was so dark there at night. You could see the Milky Way. It was so quiet. It was almost like surreal. I've been lucky because I've deployed a few times and every time I've gone somewhere it's been pretty decent. Even this last place I was at was okay, like the food was okay, the internet was good. Somalia was just like really an interesting life experience. And then I went to on a deployment one time to Italy, down to Sicily, and that was pretty cool. That was awesome. Yeah, I'm killing these guys too fast. And I think the castle entrance group is pulling these dudes down here. Yeah, they're taking those guys. It's better than nothing. Oh shoot. Come on, guys. Castle entrance group doesn't want to announce their trains. I knew something was up because they all started running out. I'm gonna go Karen on them. At least I got my feigned death off. Now I'm like, do I zone out just in case? Decent Milk asks if FD succeeds, can you stay there forever without getting aggro? After a certain level, I think it's somewhere in the 30s, FD will not. It doesn't have a 100% chance to clear aggro after like 35 or something. So if the mobs are higher than 35 or so, somewhere in that level range, I have a chance that when I stand up, I will get aggro again. And the scary thing is like I'm not gonna know if they're coming. So I'm actually what I'm gonna do is I'm going to feign again and just hope it doesn't fail. And if I do that enough times, it's like almost guaranteed that it clears their aggro. But it's still not 100% chance. So really what I should do is I should leave the zone and come back through. Can you FD with no aggro to any mobs and be safe just laying there? Yes. It's not like WoW. On World of Warcraft, if you feign death on your hunter, when the bar runs out, you die. Which it's funny if you watch like hardcore death clips, you'll see people will feign because they think like they can stay AFK feigned. And I watched like a level 50 hunter kill himself. Alright, I've feigned like 3 or 4 times, so hopefully everything is forgotten that I'm here. Oh no. I did not see that second spawn there. What should I do here? Oh no. Okay, we're just gonna roll with it. Actually, I don't know if I should roll with it. Because I think we're gonna get spawns. Be really low on mana. See how this plays out. I can generally do 2 as long as I keep splurt on both of them. Now the thing I'm wondering is where this next respawn is, because I've kind of forgotten where the spawn order is. But I got something spawning in 30 seconds. If we get a third spawn, I'm probably gonna have to boogie. Oh, he spawned behind us. We got lucky. This is where that Lich spell comes in handy because, man, the mana regen that you get from this is what makes this possible. If I didn't have Lich, I'd be hosed. I had to find Lich. It was a drop-only spell. It dropped out in Timorous Deep off of a raptor. I think it's a research. Because I've had to research all the spells myself. For that, I was like struggling. I remember it would take like a full bar of mana just to kill one thing. Collins plays, what's up? I'll read that in a sec. I'm trying to stay focused here on killing these two. Fresh splurt on this guy. Shit. I almost ran into that spawn. That would have been bad. Colin says when FD succeeds, you can stay down forever and not get aggro, but there's a chance when you stand back up, the mob will go after you again. The chance the mob will forget you goes up if they walk all the way back to where they spawn. Yep. Excuse me. Yeah, you always let them fully reset before you stand up. But it's still, even when they fully reset, it's still actually not a guarantee. No, so even if you feign with no aggro, you can still get a fail, and then you're essentially just a dude standing there. But you're laying. That makes sense. You're laying there, but you're still able to be attacked. You'll get a little message in your chat that says your character has fallen to the ground. Also, if you feign in the middle of an enemy casting a spell on you, they will continue to cast, and the spell, if it hits you, knocks you out of your feigned death. That's why feigning against caster mobs is like really scary. You got to time it just right. Also, Screaming Terror, the spell Screaming Terror can randomly make mobs forget you as well, which is really nice. So I always keep that on my bar. That's like a Hail Mary. It's a short duration mez. They just kind of stand there. They don't attack. They don't cast. And then when that wears off, they have a certain percentage chance to just like start walking off. Oh my gosh. Freaking castle entrance is killing me. They said train maybe. Yeah, no problem, Decent Milk. Always glad to educate on the more esoteric aspects of EverQuest. They don't exactly explain things very well in this game. A lot of really hidden mechanics. I would love. Colin says it's been 20 years and there's still stuff to learn. I would love to be the guy that like figures out a 25-year-old, 26-year-old quest. Because there's still quests that are like unsolved in this game, and they just think that they're not solvable. I always thought it would be really cool to like figure one of those out. I got really excited because in the patch notes, apparently they finally fixed a drop or a quest on P99 that had been broken since the P99 came out a long time now. That drops an item for the Necro skull cap and the like very highest rank skull cap. And I thought maybe they had put that in the game, but it wasn't ever in this era, so they won't put it in P99. Which really sucks because that's actually a really nice skull cap. Guy's saying he's asking if I have a bone shear. I've never seen that item. Oh, it drops here in Chardok. Of Foreman Kulul. Bone shear, charisma -10, int +10, mana +25. That would be cool to get. What is the effect? Bone shear effect. Strikes deep into your target, chipping off shards of bone. Gives one bone chip per proc. That's kind of neat. You can make your own bone chip. That's a really cool item. I wish I had that. I don't know if I could solo this guy though. Foreman Kulul, 15,000 hit points. Oh my gosh. He's deep down in Chardok. That would be a rough thing to get to. Oh, I see people coming up the tunnel. Don't train me, bro. I think the best I've done is I've gone to this like little tunnel. You were to go down to like the bottom of this ramp. There's like a little tunnel off to the left there. I've gone in there and actually killed something and found a spell. But there's caster mobs in there, like caster Sarnax. So it was really scary. I think I almost died, but I managed to pull it off. Talking to this druid now. He was asking if I was going to leave the exit anytime soon. I would say it's kind of sick of me to wear Ixar skin gloves, but like Mr. Best Friend has no morals. He doesn't care. He just told me do an Otis locked SSF Erudite Paladin. And I was like, dude, I've actually mentioned that on stream before. That just sounds like the most miserable thing ever. Alan says, oh no, the best rule set is this guy who streams his only fights mobs that spawn or path into the water. I saw that. That looks so miserable. That's like, that's another level. I'm not that crazy. Hats off to that guy. Forget what his name is. I've only seen him streaming like once, but I don't actually watch a lot of streams. Probably should do like a little bit more networking and all that. And I do know a handful of the guys, but really because they show up here, not because I go into their streams very often. Kind of a hermit over here doing my own thing. Gotten 4% since I started. I've been live for an hour and 26 minutes, so that's actually not bad. Thank you guys for hanging out. I know it's not the most engaging thing. I wish I could stream something else. But every time I stream myself doing something else, I feel immense guilt and shame for not finishing this. Although a lot of the people that used to watch me, they've kind of moved on because every time I leave for months, you know, people lose interest. Excuse me. And so it's kind of tough to keep people engaged when you're gone for 6, 7, 8, 9 months. Every time I come back, it feels like I'm starting over. I don't think I'll probably really be able to invest in this until I'm retired. And I'll be that old guy with the stream. There's a lot of those guys. Some random old dude with a big old beard streaming. There you are. Hiding. Yeah, there's like one on Eve that does really well for himself, and this dude's like, oh shit. Oh no. I just harm shielded myself because I hit the wrong button. Yeah, this guy is pulling like 3,000 and 4,000 viewers a night. He's just some old guy who really loves EVE Online. That game is a freaking rabbit hole, let me tell you. I was playing that a little bit last year. Colin says spreadsheets in space, joy. Yeah, he gets it. Collins gets it. I still enjoy it though, even though it is like very spreadsheety. Even if I'm just doing like missions, which are like the PvE content, the new PvE content on EVE. I did start getting into the abyssal instances. They're like kind of like permadeath instances. Like if you die in there, you die for good, or not for good, but you lose your ship, you lose your character, and your character has like implants in them that can cost a lot of money to help you fight. They're like buffs, permanent buffs. I got up to like tier 2 or tier 3 abyssals, and I was doing faction warfare as well, and that was pretty fun. Alright, I gotta hit the little Ixar's room. I will be right back. Okay. She got mana as fast when you're feign death. Do when you're sitting. Seems like by the name, your implants would still be implanted when you die. Huh. Oh, I thought you lost your implants too. Abyssals were like fun, but really hard. You had to really know what you were doing, and then they were really scary. There was like no warping out, so if you were in a ship that couldn't afford to replace, which that's like rule number 1 of EVE is don't fly something you can't replace. You're gonna lose it. And you had to know like the names of the mobs. There's like a whole... I'll pull it up just so you guys can see. how like complicated it was. Uh-oh, is my internet acting up? Google is like not working. OBS says it's still working, so yeah, here's the abyssal cheat sheet, and you had to know like the names of each of these mobs. These are all like different names of enemies. So you'd like go into an instance and it'd be like you'd see like anchoring Damavik, and then you would know like it's gonna do like this ability and it's gonna be like do a lot of damage or whatever. You had to prioritize each one. You got to kill this one first, then this one first. Like kill Triglavian ships to shut off drones. It was freaking really hard. You had to practice a lot, and you couldn't fail because if you failed, you lost your ship. Colin says I have friends who got into Eve, but I never could get into it. It's an acquired taste. That was really loud. I'm sorry. My compressor didn't catch me clicking my mouth because this guy had 4% of his freaking life left. Like, do I throw a dot on him? Do I life tap him again? I think I'll do Chardok for my weekday streams, and I'll try to get into Howling Stones for my weekend streams. Because the time commitment to run out to Howling Stones just to find out that camped is pretty high, and on a weekday stream, it's tough for me to justify spending an hour running around before I can even get experience. I don't want to spend the entire level of 59 to 60 doing just this. Could also check out KC again. I just remember KC Basement being like really low reward, high risk. I don't know. What do you guys think? Those of you that have been to KC Basement, especially if you've gone as a Necro, what was your experience like there? I'd love to get some different opinions on it. I think I've only tried it once. Colin says I've only been to KC Basement in groups. It's true, that'd be another one that I show up there and there's people down there. I think people from up top will pull the basement as well if there's nobody down there. So I'd probably have to deal with that. People taking spawns. I've seen like some serious wars happen in KC over spawns. When I was playing on Teak, there was a bard that was pulling, and another group kept pulling our pulls. And he was like trying to train him and get him killed and talking shit. It was a mess. Colin says KC really is the Baron's chat of EQ. Yeah, it's like degenerate behavior in there. I hope this guy dies from this splurt. Only got 2 ticks left. Just killed him on the last tick. For some reason, KC gets every scrub and their mother who got PL'd and can't play their class for hell. Yeah, luckily being solo self-found, I haven't had to deal with those people in a long time, but I know what you're talking about. I was playing on my Enchanter in City of Mist. There was a couple of people in this group that like didn't understand basic mechanics, and it was really surprising to me because we were all level 45, 50. We had the classic Necro who throws 1 dot on things that are going to die in 30 seconds. We had a druid. I can't remember what the druid was doing, something dumb like aggroing extra stuff. I was shocked because I was like, dude, people still don't know how to play this game. Like, I wasn't yelling at him, I wasn't mean, but I was just floored that people still don't understand the game. Oh yeah, let's disease the mob that lives for less than 10 seconds. Yeah, I love those necros. Those are the best necros. They bring a lot of value to your group. I will say doing the solo self-found on the Necro has taught me so much about how to play Necro. I'm actually excited to play in groups. I understand a lot more. Although I'll probably get into my first group and they'll be like, dude, why aren't you doing this? And I'll be like, I don't know, I haven't grouped in 60 levels. Like the homeschool kid. I don't understand basic things that we do here. Been off on my own. I want to go do like Velius. That's what I'm really excited about. When I finally hit 60, I'm just gonna go to Velius. Colin says you get a mez and roots and give HP to backup heal. Nice. Okay, I know how to do all that. I did all that on TLPs. I was mezzing like 3 and 4 mobs at a shot on TLP, and people were like, "You've played Enchanter before, haven't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, a little bit." Colin says, "Do you know the hot HP transfer trick?" No, I don't. I would love to know that trick. It would be terrible of you to tease me and not tell me that trick, although it would be kind of funny. Be like, go look it up. Go look it up, scrub. Hey everybody, this guy doesn't know the hot HP transfer trick. The phony. You know what'd be funny is if Decent Milk had a arch nemesis named Bad Milk and he shows up in the stream too and they argue with each other. Colin says one of your HP transfer spells is over time. I do have that one. That's I think this one, Pact of Shadow. No, Decent Milk says no bad juju. It gives them a buff and you a debuff. The debuff on you doesn't stack with itself, so you can use it on 2 or 3 different people, but it only drains you for one time. Nice. So basically the other casts are free other than the mana, which you get a ton of. Yeah, I did play Necro in groups on a P99 Red, believe it or not, way back in the day when Red actually had people on it. And I was actually doing a lot of healing and giving the mana away and like being a really supportive group member. People like those Necros. They want to group with those Necros. They don't want to group with a Necro that does the disease dot over and over on mobs. At that point, you might as well just spam like a life tap and at least get the damage. Yeah, Necros bring a lot to group. That's what I think Necro is the best class personally. I'm obviously really biased, but they're really good at grouping and they're really good at soloing, especially when you go to places with undead because you can charm a pet that does a shit ton of damage. Chardok is a good example. You can charm some pets in here that just absolutely like wreck shit. And you got the mezzes, you got the HP transfer, you got the mana transfer. %. We've gotten 5% of a level tonight. Need to do that like 14 more times and I'll be level 60. I can finally go to Velius. I really want to get this item. Pulling it up. Wiki is going really slow. This is called Student's Homework. And it gives you 3 int, 15 mana, but the cool thing is it goes in your range slot. Drops off the Angry Librarian. It's only level 34. I should be able to get that nice and easy. There's so many upgrades I can get out of Velius as soon as I'm able to go there. Retrospect, I should have stayed like, should have done Kunark lock to 50 and then been like, oh, at 50 I can go to Velius. Decent milk ask, why can't you go there? So this has been a Kunark locked challenge, so I can't leave Kunark. Yeah, I've done all Kunark. Researched all my own spells. So that involved farming the words off of things that were really a big pain to farm. I got extremely lucky with the Lich spell. I farmed raptors for probably 40 plus hours. Yeah, my research skill is maxed out, I think. Or 185. I think 185 is the highest you need. I have a bank alt that is just full of research words. If any of y'all need research spells, just let me know and I'll check my bank. I don't have everything, but I do have a lot. There was points where I didn't have the pet, like the highest level pet. So I was using like the underlevel pet. I still don't have the highest level pet. I was trying to find that out in Timorous Deep. And I think I have one of two of the words, but I can't find the second one. And the raptors are just not fun to fight. Raptors are the only place that I can find research words. Colin says I did those practice research things on my mage. How high do those get you? Get your research skill up? I just spent the money on the training because I don't have anything else to spend money on. I think it cost like 2,000 or 3,000 plat, and I was just like, yeah, sure, whatever. Practice research 1 of 10. Do not recommend. Yeah, every time I needed more research skill, I just went to stack a plat and bam the train button. I think I still need like 10,000 more plat to be able to buy Emissary of Thule. Mages are another one where I bet research is so important for mage. Your pet is like absolutely mandatory. I don't even use a pet anymore. I was trying to find all the spells. Being solo self-found, I was like, I need to find these spells. Then about level 56 or so, I was like, why am I doing this? I've got Root, I've got Lich, I've got Splurt. Finding Splurt was insanely huge. Like, the day that I found Splurt was like life-changing. I got that in Howling Stones. And I was like, why am I still trying to find spells? I have everything I need to hit level 60, so I quit trying to find spells. Is the only place that I think they really truly drop is Howling Stones. I don't think Necro spells drop in Burning Woods. I don't think I've ever found a single one off of those giants. All I ever find in Burning Woods is mage spells, maybe druid. Enchanter, I found so many enchanter spells. And the hard part about Necro spells is there's an RNG component to it as well, where you find a Necro spell, like a level 50 plus Necro spell, and then you got to turn it in to a quest mob or a quest NPC. And then he hands you a random spell out of like a pool of 4. So you could find a spell and then be like, oh sweet, I can hand this in and hopefully get a better spell for it, and he'll hand you a freaking defoliation or whatever. And it's just like a plant nuke spell. I think I've gotten that one before and I was like, seriously, dude? Colin says other classes are like that too, huh? Definitely found duplicates. That's why I stopped trying to find spells. That full XP grind for me. I did find a spell in here. If you go down the tunnel, that like tunnel that sits above the castle entrance, you can levitate over to it. But it's scary as shit in there and I almost died. Colin says I did research on Neck and Enchanter by vendor combing for pages. I used to do that too. I called it the Kabbalist 500. I would run around to all the vendors looking for pages. He says, but mage, that's not viable because most research is buy a spendy pet spell as a material in AdWords. Yeah, that was like Christmas when I would find a research component off of the vendor. I would be like, oh my gosh. $30 to $40 was the best because the Burning Woods Giants drop spell research component, or not, yeah, Warslick's Woods. They drop research components for levels like higher than you. So you could kill a level 29 giant and get a level 34 research word. He loves pudding. We got decent milk and decent pudding in here now. He says you don't need to research spells as a mage, enough are on vendors to get you to 50. And then you can get 51 pretty used to start getting Kunark pets and SSF, I'd imagine. Colin says extra bonus when the words you find on a vendor make a spell that sells good in EC. Yup.